Welcome to a strange match week in the Premier League, because after this round of fixtures, every team will have played 19 games, so we will officially be at the halfway stage of the Premier League campaign. However, not every team has played every team. Every team will have played 19 games, but only have played 18 teams. That my brain does not like that, because this set of fixtures happened in reverse just a few weeks ago. Plus, this set of fixtures start tomorrow night on Tuesday, but they don't finish until next year. Listen, West Ham are crap at the minute. That's the best I've got, all right? But I promise you, it's the second last next year joke in the programme. I promise you that. But anyway, welcome to the Tartan YouTube channel. If that rubbish hasn't put you off, please do consider subscribing. We're getting close to 7,000 subscribers. About half of you watching this programme have not subscribed to the channel, so let's sort that out, please. And also do drop a like on the video by clicking the thumbs up. And before we get into the previewing and the predictions, I've got to say well done. Well done to Carl, who is an Aston Villa fan. He went on to speak about lucky socks. He's been predicting a Villa win every single week, and he's been getting it right every single week because they're in good form. But Carl, who's a Villa fan, is this week's winner. He got 10 points, and it's because he correctly predicted Aston Villa to win 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. Had he put Villa to win 1-0 or 3-1, he wouldn't have won this weekend. He also had Manchester City down for a 2-1 win. He correctly predicted Arsenal to beat Brighton, Brentford to beat Bournemouth, Burnley to draw with Everton, Liverpool to beat Wolves. Unfortunately, he was wrong. He thought West Ham would beat Fulham. Sad times. But Carl, congratulations. You are the winner of the Tartan Geo prediction competition for the last set of fixtures, and that was your prize. A shout out from a random Scotsman that chants nonsense on YouTube. So we'll get into the fixtures, starting with Burnley hosting Newcastle. Eddie Howe returning to his former club. 9 games without a win for Burnley now. However, they have joined their last 2. Newcastle United only 1 win of their last 12 away games in the Premier League, losing 6 of the last away games in all competitions. I have to say, though, I thought Newcastle did well in the second half against Man United. They just couldn't get that goal. Too many players not performing well for Newcastle at the minute. Anthony Gordon, possibly the biggest one. Alanga hasn't worked out. Wissa's just getting up to scratch in terms of match fitness. But it's not a good season so far for Newcastle. And Eddie Howe, under a little bit of pressure, and this is where you can become a victim of your own success, where you brought success to Newcastle. They're used to success now, which is qualifying for European football, qualifying for the Champions League. They've won the trophy last season as well. So unless you're looking like you're going to get Champions League football again, it's deemed a bad season for Newcastle, because he's risen the standards of that football club, and it's up to him to try and meet them again. I think he's struggling. Burnley, though, while they have drawn the last 2, they didn't have a shot on target in the last game. It's difficult to back Burnley, isn't it? But at the minute, it's sort of difficult to back Newcastle. However, I'm going to in this one, but it's more anti-Burnley than pro-Newcastle. I'm going to say Burnley 0, Newcastle United 1. Moving on to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea hosting Bournemouth. 2 teams having a little bit of a wobble. Well, Chelsea having a little bit of a wobble and Bournemouth having a big wobble. An underrated one. I don't think there's enough attention on Bournemouth. I don't think there was enough attention on them when they were doing well. And I don't think there's enough attention on them now that they're struggling either. They seem to get away with it a little bit. As for Chelsea, though, just 1 win in 6. However, they are better at Stamford Bridge. I think they went 4 unbeaten before getting beat by Aston Villa last weekend. And Chelsea in the first half were excellent against Villa. Villa couldn't get out their half. Chelsea were brilliant. The only thing they did wrong was only score 1. They deserved to be 2-0 up at halftime, in my opinion. I think they were fantastic. But 9 without a win for Bournemouth. 9 games without a win. Drawn 4, losing 5. Relegation for them. They are lucky that A, they had such a good start to the season. B, they've got Semenyo. And C, West Ham are crap. But had we beaten Fulham, we might be having a different conversation around Bournemouth. But they're sort of getting away with that poor form at the minute. Here's a really weird statistic. It doesn't sound true, but I promise you it is. I've triple checked it. Bournemouth have conceded at least 3 goals in their last 6 away games. That feels ridiculous, doesn't it? That feels dangerous, right? But it's true. Go check it. If you don't believe me, then come back and say in the comments, I checked that. You're bang on, Gio. You're absolutely right. Not about my predictions, just about Bournemouth have conceded 3 goals in the last 6 games. Anyway, they've not won away since August. Last season, both of these games finished in a draw. Well, sorry, the last one last season as well finished in a draw. I predict goals at Stamford Bridge. I'm going to say Chelsea 3, Bournemouth 2. Moving on to the City Ground as Nottingham Forest host Everton. Forest 1 win, 3 defeats in their last 4 Premier League games, only winning 3 of the last 13 at the City Ground. But obviously that goes back not only to Postecoglou but also to Nuno Espirito Santo as well. Everton not scored in their last 3 games, just 1 point. And you have to go back to April 2006. The last time that Everton went 4 Premier League games without a goal. They are missing and died. They were missing Grealish at the weekend. And you can tell, you can see it, and you can feel it. Dewsbury Hall was also absent too. Moyes is missing his attacking players at the minute. The other ones just aren't quite bad. He finally got his goal and stopped scoring, so that prediction was wrong. I thought once he got his first one, I thought he'd be like a Pringle. Once you pop, you can't stop. I thought he'd get his first one and he'd go on a bit of a purple patch. Basically what Calvert-Lewin's doing. I thought Barry would do that. Got his first one and then, the lid firmly went back on the tub of Pringles. I'm trying to think of what flavour they'd be. Maybe like the oniony ones. I don't like onion crisps. Do you get cheese and onion Pringles? You must get cheese and onion Pringles, don't you? It's all about the Texas barbecue ones for me. I got the pigs and blankets Pringles for the Christmas period. And we had a gathering on Christmas Eve, so they were there on the table. But I've noticed that guests don't like opening stuff. So we put out various things. So there's a bag of cheesy Doritos and a bag of the chili Doritos because that's my favourite ones. They were there. No one opened them. No one touched them. Then I wanted some of the chili Doritos. So the heat wave, I think they call. I don't know why they popped. Just opened a lot quieter than that. They opened. I took some out. And before you know it, everyone was going and having some, which was good to see. But I thought, why did none of you just open them? They're on the table for a reason. I'd be offended if you opened my cupboard and started opening stuff up. But it's on the table. No one opened the Pringles, so they're still unopened. Have you had the pigs and blankets Pringles? Let me know if they were good. I might open them later when I'm watching the darts. Anyway, back to the game. I haven't even told you my prediction yet, have I? No, I have not. I'm going to say Nottingham Forest 1, Everton 0. West Ham against Brighton. It's 7 without a win for us. 3 draws and 4 defeats. Nuno has now lost 7 of his 13 games in charge of the Hammers. West Ham have now lost 11 games at home in 2025, and we've never in our history lost 12 games at home in a calendar year. So we could make unwanted history on Tuesday night at the London Stadium. Brighton 5 without a win, but in fairness, bar the game against West Ham at Amex Stadium, the other 4 fixtures have been quite tricky with the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal in there as well. Herzler, weird one, Herzler has never won a game as Brighton manager in December. You know what's going to happen, don't you? Herzler's finally going to win. West Ham are going to make history for losing 12 games. It's difficult at the minute as a West Ham fan, and I've had a lot of comments from some of you guys that don't support West Ham in the last week or two, just trying to cheer me up and keep me motivated and keep my spirits up. And I wish to acknowledge that because it's a very kind thing to do. When you witness a man is down and you try and throw some words in to cheer him up and pick him up, hasn't really worked, unfortunately. It worked last week when we got beat by Man City. But after that Fulham defeat, it's not really worked. I still feel sad and I still feel angry right now. I'm going to say West Ham United 0, Brighton 1. Arsenal taking on Aston Villa. Why does this game have to be on Tuesday? Sometimes I hate it when West Ham are playing at the same time as a fixture I really want to watch. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to watch Nottingham Forest, Everton, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Burnley, Newcastle, just like those fans probably don't want to watch West Ham, Brighton, understandably. But Arsenal Villa, I want to watch that game. That's the one I want to watch. I want to watch it. I can't. Anyway, Arsenal winning 8 and drawing 1 at the Emirates in the Premier League so far this season. However, Emery, it's only 2 games, has never lost at the Emirates as an away manager, winning 1, drawing 1. He's got a good record against Arteta, obviously winning this reverse fixture at Villa Park a few weeks ago as well. Villa 8 top flight wins in a row for the first time since 1910, winning their last 11 in a row in all competitions. And Aston Villa right now are 3 points behind Arsenal before this game. So should they win, they're equal points with Arsenal. Title race! That's Aston Villa knocking. Open the door. We're coming in. I promise you I've not been drinking this morning. It's 9:45. I promise you I've not drank. I've ate no Pringles. I'm just delirious. Right, that's it. I think Villa are going to do it. I think they're going to do it. I'm backing them. I've been backing Villa for weeks. That's the score prediction I keep getting right every week and giving myself 3 points for my Villa prediction. I thought they'd beat Arsenal 3-1. I thought 2-1. I thought they'd beat Chelsea 2-1. I'm sticking with it. Arsenal 1, who are missing quite a few defenders at the minute. Aston Villa 2. I think they win. I think Villa do. And do you know what? I hope so. Villa fans, Carl, I'm with you. I'm with you. Go and do them. I'll be pleased if you can beat Arsenal. Anyway, Manchester United hosting Wolves. Man United just 5 points off. 2 defeats in 12 for Ruben Amorim's side, who changed formation in their last game. Oh, it was brilliant. Were you waiting? I was listening. Now I'm crap at hearing. For those who don't know, I wear hearing aids. That's not the reason I'm a little bit mental this morning. I'm just a little bit mental. But I was listening harder than you because of my hearing deficiency. I was listening for the penny to drop with Gary Neville when watching the Newcastle Man U game on Boxing Day. It was brilliant before the game. Oh, look, they're warming up in the back 3. Let's discuss Martinez playing right centre-back, and they discussed it. And you know something? Usually that would be applicable. Usually a team doing the warm-up would then carry out what they've just done in the warm-up, right? But they were making a point. Shaw, Heaven, Martinez, left-footer at right centre-back. Oh, every kick-off, game gets underway. Back 4. Dorgu's right wing, Martinez is left centre-back next to Heaven in the back 4. And Gary Neville is talking, oh, they were warming up in the back 3, now it's a back 4. And he's confused, he's completely confused. It's caught him off guard, he doesn't understand what's happening, right? And after about 10 minutes, Eddie Howe tells Lewis Hall, get Ramsdale to go down. Ramsdale goes down, physio comes on, Lewis Hall goes over, speaks to Eddie Howe, starts giving instructions to everyone. So Newcastle start changing tactics. And then Gary Neville's like, commenting about it. Well, yeah, because they've been caught out as well. You've been caught out, you daft bugger. I was just waiting for the penny to drop. Never occurred, but it tickled me. And then listening to him say, it's not a penalty. Martinez's arms are up because he's pushing Chow. So he's committing a foul. It's not a penalty because he's committing a foul. Now, for what it's worth, I don't think it was a pen. It was just funny listening to him say it's not a penalty because he's pushing Chow. Anyway, back to the game. I haven't even discussed the game. I've discussed the Man U aspect from it, I suppose. 6 wins and just 1 defeat at Old Trafford in 8 games in the Premier League so far, since the opening game of the season for Manchester United. Wolves, 2 points from 18, now officially the worst team because of their points haul. I think some teams have gone unbeaten, without a win in 18, but they've accumulated more than the 2 points that Wolves have. 11 defeats in a row, but it does feel like there's a twinge of improvement for Wolves at the minute. The last 3 games have been beaten by a goal, and tough fixtures as well, I think. Off the top of my head, Liverpool, Arsenal and Villa, I think it was. They've only lost those games by 1 goal. Tough fixtures. And I know what's going to happen. Wolves are not going to win. And the next fixture is against West Ham. They're going to win that one. I know it. I know what's going to happen. I've already accepted we are going to be the first team to lose to Wolves this season in the Premier League. I see it a mile away, right? So Manchester United 2, Wolves 0, setting them up. for that. But actually, now I'm going to change it to 2-1. I'm changing it. Let me write this down. 2-1. I'm changing it. I'm going to stick with that 1 goal loss thing. And also, I'm going to say Cunha scores because that guy had about 20 shots when he played at the Molineux. Anyway, on to 2026's fixtures. Oh no, that's not the next joke. I said there was one more to come. That's not it. There's one more. You can probably guess what it is. I don't care. I'm using it. Anyway, Crystal Palace host Fulham. That's 5 games without a win now for Crystal Palace. 1 draw and 4 defeats in that run. And here's an interesting fact for you. They've never won a New Year's Day game in the Premier League, Crystal Palace. Drawing 3 and losing 3. Plus, they've not scored at home against Fulham since 2019. 2 random facts. They just don't feel true, but I've checked. They are. As for Fulham, have I wrote anything down? Yeah, 3 wins in a row, but they've not won 4 in a row in the Premier League. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not fact-checked that because it's a lot, isn't it? To check this thing. When I do my research, I use certain websites who highlight things and give me facts and stuff like that. Not opinions, stats and facts. That's what I like. And that was there. Now, some of them I do go double check, like the Bournemouth one. I thought, that doesn't feel right. Let me have a look. It was true. The Fulham one, I have not fact-checked this, but apparently they've never won 4 in a row in the Premier League before. And I'm not fact-checking it because it would take a while, wouldn't it? That's a lot of fixtures to trawl through. There you go. Fact-check it yourself. As for this game, I'm a bit pissed off with Fulham at the minute. They won and they did nothing wrong. They haven't cheated or nothing. It's just, I'm pissed off with Nuno about us losing, but they beat us, so they're on the Gio Norte step at present. As for Palace, they're just a bit boring at the minute. They're just a bit tired. Glasner's spoken about reinforcements as a must in the January transfer window. I completely agree. And this is technically in the January transfer window. They just won't be there in time. I'm going to say Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 0. Feels a bit of a boring game, doesn't it? Liverpool hosting Leeds United. This was anything but a boring game at Ellen Road a few weeks ago. Liverpool have won 4 in a row, unbeaten in 7 quietly, putting a bit of form together as they get back into the top 4 and try and get Champions League football and salvage something from what has been a very miserable first half of the season for the Reds. Leeds United unbeaten in 5, and in that 5 games, they've played some tough fixtures as well against the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea. Sunderland away, who I thought Leeds were excellent in that game. I've not seen Sunderland sort of struggle that much this season when I've watched them. So Leeds are doing well at the minute. They can go to Anfield, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum, but more importantly, perhaps without fear. They've got a nice cushion between them and the bottom 3. Did well against Liverpool a few weeks ago. They can go there with belief as well. And I think they might get something. I'm going to say Liverpool 1, Leeds United 1. Moving on to the GTEC Community Stadium as Brentford host Spurs. Brentford have now got 26 points, which is the most points they've ever had at this stage of a Premier League campaign as they sit 8th in the Premier League. I fact-checked that one as well. Yep. Unlike the Fulham one, it's quite simple to check that one, but they're definitely 8th in the league. But 26 points on the board. And they're still brilliant at home, thumping Bournemouth at the weekend. Only Manchester City are the only side to win at the GTEC Community Stadium so far this season. However, the reverse fixture, Spurs won. Before they beat Crystal Palace last night, Tottenham had only won 2 of the previous 9, one of them coming against Brentford, but that felt like an important win for Thomas Frank. Although I will say in unconvincing fashion. I watched it and I nodded off on a couple of occasions, but I managed to catch about 85 minutes. A few minutes I missed by going. That kind of thing, right? And then I had to sort of move and get up and go for just do a lap of the living room and sit back down, try and wake myself up again. I thought Palace were the better team, but Spurs, in theory, scored 3 goals, but Richarlison somehow managed to be offside on both occasions, which was almost impressive. To be fair, I think he was unlucky. He was close both times. Difficult one to call, this one. And when I find it a difficult game to call, I'm going to go Brentford 2, Spurs 2. Moving on to the last fixture of the round as Sunderland host Manchester City. Sunderland just 1 win in 5. However, they remain unbeaten at the Stadium of Light. But Manchester City now winning 8 in a row. And they could go top depending on the result at the Emirates a couple of nights prior. But because I think Aston Villa are going to win, that would mean if Man City win, they go top of the Premier League and remain top of the Premier League after the game week has completed for what I assume is the first time this season. I feel like Arsenal have been there and stayed there for the full duration of this half of the campaign so far. So this could be the week it changes at the summit of the Premier League table. And I think it will. Manchester City made light work of Sunderland a few weeks ago. And yes, it's at the Stadium of Light. But Sunderland look a little bit tired to me against Leeds United. They looked a little bit fatigued, and maybe they're missing their energetic midfielders due to the African Cup of Nations as well. And I think City will just be too good for them. I'm going to say Sunderland 0, Manchester City 2. And there you go. That's my random preview and terrible predictions for this round of fixtures. Please give me your predictions in the comments below. And the winner will get the same prize as what Carl had at the start of this show. But if you've made it to the end, you must have enjoyed it to some extent. So please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to Tartan Geo. And I'll see you next year.